Welcome, everybody. This is Brian Perry and the lovely Julie Perry with Perry Home Solutions. Julie?
Helping people buy and sell real estate. If you know anybody, you know who to call.
Yep. Call Julie. No, you can call me too. So Julie wanted to ask me some questions today, and she didn't tell me exactly what they were. I guess it's about being a salesperson. So, Julie, I'm on the spot. Fire away.
Okay. So this thought came from a comment that I heard recently, which basically it was something along the lines that behind every successful business, you need a highly effective and efficient, let's just say effective, either sales department or sales leader. Especially if you're focused on growth and you want to be a successful company, that always comes to the core sales department, right? Or a sales leader.
Especially important when your entire business is sales.
Right. But I think it translates beyond just a sales business. I think any business, to a degree, you're trying to get business, so that it's a component of sales. So I thought that's very interesting. And also because, I mean, we live it. We're in real estate sales. But I think it also is interesting to think about how what we do or things that we learn could also translate to other industries, and maybe how we might take for granted some of those things that we've learned. And maybe someone that has a small business or is trying to start a small business, for them it might be a new concept or something that they're trying to learn. So just wanted to talk to Brian about that. So let's see. I wanted to ask him a couple of questions, but let's start. What makes a successful sales leader or salesperson? Let's focus on a salesperson. For example, let's start with like the mindset. What would be the mindset of someone that is highly effective or highly successful as a sales leader or a salesperson?
The question's to me?
Yes.
The mindset of a highly successful salesperson? Well, I think that the mindset that you have to be a successful salesperson, number one, starts with being persistent and not giving up. I think that's definitely important. It's important on a couple of different levels, but it's, as an example, in sales, you hear the word no quite a bit, so you need to learn how to, reconcile that in your mind. But as an example, when we generate, let's say, a buyer lead on one of our listings, if you just call that person one time and never call them again and never follow up, and you just kind of give up, well, you're doing yourself a disservice, you're doing your clients a disservice, and everything else. So I think that mindset of just kind of perseverance and persistence is, in my opinion, really, really important.
Okay.
Is there anything I'm forgetting
so
with regard to mindset? So
what I hear you saying is persistence, sticking with something beyond maybe when it's a little uncomfortable to do so.
Yeah.
And also not to take it personal. You're going to get a lot of no's, but that's not necessarily a reflection of you. It's just how it goes, and just to be able to accept that and continue to persist beyond that.
Yeah. Even though
maybe.
In reality, to be frank, you don't get as many no's as, a lot of people consider things rejection that aren't even rejection. And a lot of people consider things no when the word no was never uttered. So we don't get no's that often, but yeah. And then there's something else you said too that was important. I forgot what it was. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So mindset, persistence, and not taking things personal. Okay. And I think also some things that I've heard you say before is like, sometimes you don't know what the other person on the other line or on the other side, let's say, is going through. So maybe at that time they're coming across like a rejection, like, no, I don't want to, or I don't want to talk to you. But maybe they're just having a bad day, or maybe they are also going through something.
Yeah.
So persistent also maybe is trying at a different time, and maybe finding out that they're having a better day and that had nothing to do with you, that they were so abrupt on the phone that day.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, there was a guy who's actually a friend of mine now. When I first called him, he was not very happy to speak to me, let's just say. And when I called him back, maybe a month or two later, come to find out there was a pretty bad tragedy in his family. And so it wasn't a rejection of me as a salesperson, it was his current mental state at that moment. Exactly. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
then eventually he became our client and we helped him. So I don't remember that. Yeah.
That was great.
So that's the mindset component. Now let's talk about habits. What would be some good habits to be able to function at a high level as a salesperson?
Well, you need to structure your day well, I think. And there's a lot of ways to approach sales. However, presuming that you need to, develop relationships proactively. In other words, presuming that you don't have a line of people just waiting to transact with you and you're just an order taker. If you need to be proactive in finding business for your business, then you really do need to structure your day around that. And I would first point to Gary Keller's book, The One Thing, which is basically what this is premised on. And that is, you focus on the most important activities in your day, first thing in the day, and make sure that the first 2 or 3 hours of the day are only focused on that activity. So as a salesperson, your number one most important activity is making connections with your, target,
audience, target customer.
We have a lot of specific, words for that, but it won't make a lot of sense on this video. But, anybody that you need to be connecting with to be able to do business with or help, right, is probably a better way to frame that. That's what you need to be focused on. And frankly, until you have helped them correctly, until you found enough people that you can help, you shouldn't stop doing that. So that is probably the number one habit. But then you have to structure the rest of your life and day around that, right? So I think it's good to do things that are valuable to you first thing in the morning, right? So you're not missing out on those important things. As an example, eating healthy, right? Having a good, it sounds stupid, but it's not, having a good breakfast. It's the
fuel that your body needs to get you through those.
Exercise, spending time with your family, things of that nature. You want to make sure to prioritize those things, make sure that you wake up early, do those things first, and then, you really can focus on the business things that you need to focus on with a clear conscience and with the proper amount of energy. So I think that's...
So let me see if I recap it. So you will start your day with, let's call it fueling. So you're going to fuel your body, and you're going to, with food, and you're going to fuel your endurance with some exercise maybe. And you're also going to fuel your, let's call it your soul, which some personal, it could be your family, or maybe some people may read or meditate or something that kind of feeds your soul and to kind of get you to a good mental state, right?
Yep.
And then after that, when you get to the business, you're going to front load the hard activities, we will call it hard, which will be probably proactively seeking new customers.
Yeah, I wouldn't frame it as hard, just the most important.
The most important thing, right. Because given that it is the most important thing for your business, which is finding new customers, it should be done first. Like that's the priority, right? So when you get to your business, maybe don't get sidetracked with all the other noise that might be happening in your business. Do the most important thing first, which is find new customers.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, for habits, I think those are there's many other habits that you can certainly develop that are also important, but those are probably the most important thing. Controlling your morning and making sure that the thing that you need to get accomplished is accomplished early in the day.
Right.
So procrastination doesn't prevent it from happening.
Right. Because more things will come up as the day progresses, and if you didn't accomplish that important thing, the likelihood that it would get done at the end might probably be less.
Correct.
Okay. And so we talk mindset, we talk habits. How about some skills? What will be some useful skills?
Sales skills specifically, obviously, right? Well, in my opinion, habits and persistence are more important than skills, but you definitely, you need to have skill. Number one is whatever you're selling, you need to have a deep knowledge of what it is. And so like in real estate, one thing that one way we teach a new salesperson is not to, you need to start your sales career by selling. You need to start by connecting with people and building relationships and earning business, right? But then we also will send them out in the field and, go do open houses, go tour homes that are for sale. And then we'll bring them on and we'll have them show our buyers, communities and things like that. It's really important to have like a really deep product knowledge and in real estate. In real estate, a knowledge of, of the local real estate market is really important. But when it comes to sales skills, we work a lot on,
Communication maybe could be
Yeah,
one of them.
scripting and objection handling and just understanding how to guide somebody and to do so in a way that it's in their best interest, but it allows them to see the reality through the cloud of their own perspective and misperception potentially, right?
So perhaps spending some time on practicing, what you're gonna say. If people have, what are the most common questions or objections that your prospective client's gonna give you or ask you, and kind of be prepared with, this is what I should say, this is how I should present it, and things like that.
Yeah.
Some practice on
Yeah,
those.
pretty much. Mhm.
Okay, very good. How about follow-up? Is follow-up a skill, or would that be a habit?
I have no idea if you call it a skill or a habit. I can tell you it's crucial to being a successful salesperson. And it kind of goes back to the first, I guess it's a habit because, every day you want to make, if you're communicating with somebody about buying or selling anything, if you never follow up with them, your conversion rate is going to be pretty horrific, right? The amount of people that you're going to be able to help is going to be reduced dramatically. So follow-up is absolutely key. Right. If you spend a long time building relationships with people and then you just completely disappear, you're probably never going to earn their business. Follow-up is probably, in my opinion, follow-up's maybe the most important element of being a successful salesperson.
Especially because I'm guessing a business will probably spend a lot of money generating what we call new leads, your new prospective clients. And then if you don't take the time to follow up with them, then you kind of lost all that time and effort. And the chances that you will convert them into new customers on that very first connection is probably very low.
Yeah.
So the follow-up is where you would actually make up the money that you spend and the effort, and will actually, acquire the business. So
Yeah, it's important. It certainly is.
very good. Anything else that we should talk about?
No, not unless you have another hour.
Okay, then we'll leave it there.
Okay. Thank you, Julie.
All right, thank you.
Bye, everybody.